If you run a small or medium-sized business, you know this battle all too well. On one side, you've got the ever-growing cost of just staying compliant, and on the other, the absolutely terrifying risk of a data breach. In this explainer, we're going to break down how you can move from just managing costs to building real, operational resilience. Okay, let's get into it.
You know that feeling, right? You're staring at your budget, and that line item for compliance, for all the audits, the training, the new tech, it just seems to get bigger and bigger every single year. And yet, even with all that money going out the door, there's that little voice in the back of your head, that nagging feeling. If a real, serious cyber attack hit you tomorrow, would you actually be ready? Or is that the thing that could take your whole business down?
Well, what if the goal wasn't just to spend money to check some boxes? What if you could invest in a way that not only makes your business more secure, but actually makes it run better, smarter, and stronger? Believe me, there's a much better way to play this game.
So, first things first, we've got to really understand the fundamental problem that so many businesses are stuck in right now. And that's what we call the SMB cost dilemma.
This right here, this gets to the absolute heart of the pressure. On the one hand, your compliance costs are creeping up, sometimes by 10, even 15% year after year. But on the other hand, the alternative? Well, it's the catastrophic, maybe even business-ending cost of a single data breach. You're just caught right in the middle.
Okay, so let's move away from just the feeling of being stuck and look at the hard facts. What do the actual numbers say about this balancing act? And trust me, the data here, it's pretty eye-opening. Just look at the sheer scale of this difference. An SMB might spend, say, $150,000 a year on compliance stuff, and that feels like a lot of money. But compare that to the average cost of a breach for a business your size, a staggering $2.5 million. It's not even close. What you spend to prevent it is just a tiny fraction of what it costs to clean up the mess.
And if that huge number is hard to wrap your head around, think of it like this. That $2.5 million breaks down to somewhere between $180 and $220 for every single piece of compromised data. Just think about that for a second. Every customer email, every client file you have suddenly has a massive price tag on its head if it gets breached.
You know, there's this myth out there that attackers only care about the huge corporations. Yeah, that's just completely wrong. A massive 43% of all cyber attacks are aimed squarely at small and medium-sized businesses. You are absolutely 100% on their radar.
And this is where it gets really scary. We know that almost half of all attacks are targeting SMBs, and yet a staggering 86% of those exact same businesses say they feel unprepared to handle it. I mean, that is a massive, incredibly dangerous gap between how big the threat is and how ready people feel.
So, okay, enough with the scary stuff. This is where we pivot from the problem to the solution. How do we close that gap without just throwing more and more money at it? The answer is in a much more integrated, much more strategic approach.
What we're talking about is something called hub-level technology. Now look, all that really means is bringing your key business functions, your customer info, your project management, your communications, all into one central platform. It streamlines everything, and here's the kicker, it cuts down on all those little manual errors, which, let's be honest, is where so many security problems start.
And look, this isn't just about locking things down. The ripple effects are huge. Internally, you get these massive gains in efficiency and collaboration, because everyone's finally working from the same playbook. Then think about your strategy. You can make way smarter, data-driven decisions. You get a platform that can actually grow with you. And it all adds up to a much better and safer experience for your customers. All right, that all sounds great in theory, but how do you actually apply it to your business? This is definitely not a one-size-fits-all kind of deal, so let's look at a really practical way to find what's right for you. Okay, this matrix right here, this is your roadmap. It's actually super simple. You just find your team size, match it up with your general compliance needs, and boom, you've got a clear recommendation. So for a really small team, maybe a cloud-based content management system is all you need to get started. But a larger organization, you're probably going to need a more integrated platform that pulls everything together. The path is laid out right here for you.
So, once you've got an idea of what you're looking for, what do you actually do? What are the steps? Let's walk through a clear, actionable playbook to get you going.
Here's your immediate checklist. You got to start with knowing your landscape, what rules apply to you, and what systems are you using right now. From there, you can map out the features you need and make sure whatever you choose can grow with you. And please, 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 don't make training an afterthought. Plan for it from day one so everyone's on board. Okay, once you've done that initial planning, it's time to get into the nitty-gritty. After a formal risk assessment, you can start getting proposals from vendors and, this part is crucial, run a pilot test before you commit to everything. But listen, the single most important thing to get is that this is not a set it and forget it kind of deal. Real strength comes from scheduling regular reviews and always investing in your team's training.
And that really brings us to the big idea, the huge mindset shift you need to make. You're not just managing expenses anymore. You're not just trying to avoid a fine. The real goal here is to build operational resilience, to create a tougher, more efficient business that can actually handle threats and keep on growing.
So, I want to leave you with this one question to really think about. Take a hard look at how you're handling compliance and security right now. Is it just another cost you have to pay, another line on a spreadsheet? Or have you turned it into a strategic asset that protects your customers, empowers your team, and gives you a real competitive edge?